who has seen, of course, many people have seen the photograph of Kanye West, White Lives Matter with Candace Owen. Who has seen Kanye West address this address the whatever he had, I think is a sweatshirt or something like that. Anybody seen that?
The when he quotes Leviticus 19?
No, I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about Leviticus 19. Uh-huh. The White Lives Matter. Has anybody seen him address the White Lives Matter? Yeah, so he well, number one, you know, him and what's his girl? Candace Owens. This is all about Candace Owens' new documentary. Candace Owens has a documentary coming out exposing Black Lives Matter as an organization. So it's all really essentially a publicity stunt to spark interest in Candace Owens' new documentary, where she goes into all the money that Black Lives Matter raised over $80 million. And then she goes into the expenses and what that money was spent on. Do you know they spent $250,000 on tranny prostitutes?
What?
This is documented. This is
no, I'm not saying what, like, I don't believe you.
$250,000 to transsexual escorts.
Man, they took Tyrone Biggums. Well, how much was his?
It was a $400,000 crack party.
They didn't. Tyrone Biggums had the $400,000 crack party. So they're close though.
They spent so much. So they're showing you where this money went. All the money, because it's funny, because people were talking about they were donating to Black Lives Matter. And I was saying this the whole time while it was at its height. What are you donating to? What is this organization about? We don't need any money to organize a protest. That's free. Hey, everybody be here at 3:00. Everybody shows up. We cause a disturbance. We say stuff. We got megaphones. What did the 80 million? Because there was so many, and I want you to understand something about Black Lives Matter. There are so many white people in this country who, in order to sleep at night and feel like they weren't racist and feel like they did something about all the injustice that they see, they just donated to Black Lives Matter. And all of us kept going, what is that? What is Black Lives Matter? All we're saying is our lives matter. It's not a group. We didn't go to meetings, right? There was no, like, where was the meeting at? The Black Lives Matter meeting, where was that at? David, y'all about to me out dropping with the water. Where is it? Is there a building somewhere? Right? It's one of the greatest scams, and we're talking about America. So many scams in America, right? It's one of the greatest scams in the history of America. Because you take a phrase. It's not the NAACP, right? It's not the Black Panthers. It's a phrase, right? It's not. So how is it even an organization? It's just it's a sentence. Black Lives Matter. If you disagree with it, you must be an animal and monster, because you must think that the lives of blacks don't matter. So it was genius in the marketing, because you have to agree with it, or else you think black people don't matter. So you agree with it, and you're saying, you're chanting it, you're buying t-shirts with it. And little do you know, it is an actual organization that's collecting money, and nobody who's saying Black Lives Matter is reaping any of the goddamn benefits of the money. Nobody. We're talking about $80 million, right? So Candace Owens, she is doing a documentary where she's exposing where that money and where it went, how it was spent, which is interesting. So apparently, and like the brother Lazuli said, the movement was different than the organization, but the organization was able to hide behind the movement. They were able to hide behind the movement, and they were able to collect money based upon the movement and blow it on transsexual escorts and things of that nature. So Candace Owens is exposing all this. So that was a little stunt that her and Kanye did with the White Lives Matter. So what Kanye essentially was saying was he wasn't trying to campaign for white lives or anything like that. That what did he say? It's something like, it's obvious that white, thank you. Like, it's obvious. You say Black Lives Matter. Well, it's obvious that white lives matter, clearly, because of the way the world takes it. He had some type of spin, that he tried to put on it. But I think he did an interview on Tucker Carlson. Let's take a look real quick. Go ahead, you preach.
Ezekiel 13:4. Oh, Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the deserts, like cunning, thieves.
Exactly, and Black Lives Matter became like some type of representation for, somehow, some way became, some type of representation, right? So let's go here. Let's just review this a little bit.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Kanye West, now known as Ye, is one of the best-selling musical artists in the world. He's also in recent years become a celebrated and very highly paid fashion designer. And of course, for a decade, he was well known to TV audiences as an in-law of the Kardashian family. But it's West's latest incarnation as a kind of Christian evangelist that brought us to his office in Los Angeles today for the interview you're about to see. Days ago, during Fashion Week in Paris, West, accompanied by his friend Candace Owens, unveiled a T-shirt that read simply, "White Lives Matter." The response from the fashion industry and international media was instantaneous and uniform. Shock, horror, rage. "There is no excuse for this," thundered the New York Times. "West is legitimizing extremism," shrieked Rolling Stone, etc., etc. What was strikingly missing from the coverage, however, was any explanation for why West did this. What was the T-shirt about? No one seemed to think to ask him, much less to listen to what he had to say. Instead, the enemies of his ideas dismissed West, as they have for years, as mentally ill, too crazy to take seriously. "Look away, ignore him. He's a mental patient. There's nothing to see here." But is West crazy? You can judge for yourself as you watch what we're about to show you. He has his own ideas, we can say that. Creative people tend to. That's why they're artists, not actuaries. His freeform social media posts give the impression of a man channeling his rawest emotions right onto Instagram. The effect can be jarring and is often used as ammunition against him in the battle for influence over the minds of America's young people. And that battle is intense. But crazy? That was not our conclusion. In fact, we've rarely heard a man speak so honestly and so movingly about what he believes. But again, you can judge for yourself. Here it is.
Herschel Walker has a history of violence.
Hold on. I was talking about this the other day, man, when I was on the Star Report. I said, man, these Herschel Walker ads are insane in the state of Georgia.
Herschel Walker cannot be trusted.
Listen, all I know, when you got that white woman on there talking about, he put a gun to my head, I said, oh, there's no way he's getting in office. Not a chance in hell, man. So like you.
So you just came from Paris Fashion Week. You just landed, and the lanyard's still on from it, and there's a photograph on it. What is that?
It's a photograph of a baby's ultrasound.
Why is that? And that you designed that?
Yes.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen. I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more Black babies being aborted than born in New York City.
And this is, you know, for the brother Kanye, it's like everybody, here's the coldest part about it. He does this White Lives Matter picture, right? And the whole world, our people, want to crucify him, right? But he has to do this in order. This is what he had to do in order to get a Tucker Carlson interview and get here on fire. And nobody's watching this though. All our people are doing is running with. They saw this picture with this and didn't have the when I saw it, I said, I need to understand. I know this is Kanye West. We know he does things that's going to throw you for a loop, but there's what you would call a method to his madness. So I say, okay, well, let's wait to hear the man out, which is only what we're supposed to do if we believe in the Bible, right?
Judge not according to
judge not according to. I know it looks crazy,
right,
but we can't judge according. We got to judge righteous judgment. And the first thing that this brother says, is,
what does white mean?
Well, no, the first thing he says is, I'm sick of black babies getting aborted. I'm pro-life. That's one of the most powerful things that can be said, because that is not what the average person, the average black person who they'll put a camera in front of, that's not what they're talking about. I heard about today that there is an entire segment of black women on TikTok that are shaming women who decide to have babies. There is a whole segment on TikTok of black women that are attacking other black women because they are deciding to have their baby. Isn't that something, right? So this is powerful what the brother Kanye West is doing. And like Lizia says, no such thing as bad publicity.
At this point, that 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people.
50% of black death in America is abortion. 50%. But all we hear about is what? Gun control. All I'm hearing about is gun control. But gun violence is not 50% of black and brown death in this country. It's not anywhere near it. Nowhere. If you have a city, right? Chicago, 600 murders, right? LA, 400 murders. How many black and Hispanic people died in that city, right? That weren't shot to death. How many died in car accidents? How many died from heart disease? How many had cancer, right? How many from negligence? You see, how many just simply from old age?
Right.
Abortion is far more of a threat to our people than a gun, but the gun is what we're constantly hearing about. Yep. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, that means shooting, heart attack, cancer, car accident, nigga falling off a cliff is not more than black abortion.
Period.
More deaths than that, bro.
Point blank, period. So he has to wear a White Lives Matter shirt to get everybody in an uproar just so he can say this, right? It's important to understand that.
People's response. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this way? When did you start to realize this?
I really felt like, I think I started to really feel this need to express myself on another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to, you know, my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I liked Trump, that my career would be over, that my life would be over. They said stuff like people get killed for wearing a hat like that. They threatened my life. They put my life. They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, you know, okay, green light me then. You know, God builds warriors in a different way. I don't know if it's because of me being born in Atlanta and growing up on the south side of Chicago that, you know, he made me for such a time like this. It's like with David, you know, he tended to the sheep, but while he was out there, he had to fight all kinds of animals. So when it was time for Goliath to come, you thought because he was a sheep herder that he didn't have the skill set to take down Goliath. And the thing that I have is the position, I have my heart, but the number one thing is we have God on our side. And for the people, even if you don't believe in God, God believes in you.
So you made reference to the White Lives Matter T-shirt,
Mhm.
which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance. You know, like as if you asked like Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin, she was in so much practice that when it was time for her to skate in a competitive format, it just happened. Like it happened outside of practice. It happened in the real format, and that's what's happening. Is God is like preparing us for the real battles, and we are in a battle with the media. Like the majority of the media has a godless agenda, and the jokes in that work and this whole like, oh yeah, he's crazy and all these things, they don't work because the media has, you know, they've also watched travesties happen, just even specifically to me, and just watch it and act like it wasn't happening, and they stay quiet about it.
What have they?
So,
what have?
I want to answer the white.
Yeah.
I feel like someone caught what I was saying, the comparison to Tanya Harding about the White Lives Matter. You know, my dad is an educated ex-Black Panther, and he put a text to me today. He said, "White Lives Matter, ha 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 ha." And I said, I thought the shirt was a funny shirt. I thought the idea of me wearing it was funny. And I said, Dad, what do you think it was funny? He said, just a Black man stating the obvious. Yeah. And, you know, my dad doesn't listen to rap music, and he's like super educated. We opened up a water distribution center in the Dominican Republic together. He's like the original Steve Jobs, but he was getting blocked every which way with all of his ideas. And he didn't have an endless bank account, and he didn't have an Instagram. So all these ideas, he had to like take them back and compress them. Like my dad is the most brilliant person that I know. And we actually have a strained relationship because I was taken from him, because my mom was an actress, so she was a liberal. And my dad would see certain things and say, you know, we should do it this way, we should do it that way. And the people got around my mom and pulled her away, much like, you know, Kim is a Christian, but she has people who want her to go to Interview Magazine and put her ass out while she's a 40-something-year-old multi-billionaire with 4 Black children. And this is how fashion wants to, how they want to present.
So like, I'm just, you know, is he's quite the individual. So essentially what he's saying is, because we know now, who has ever heard about Kanye West's father before? I ain't never heard about this man, Dad. This is my first time. What did you know about his father?
That Kanye had a good relationship, that he was smart.
That he was smart, right? Now, we see him speaking to his mother being liberal and his mother taking him from his father, and he and his father having a strained relationship. This is somewhat contradictory to narratives that we've seen earlier in Kanye's career in championing single motherhood and things of that nature, how his mom raised him. You see what I'm saying? So not necessarily, well, I mean, it is taken away from his mother, but it's almost like him going through it now and Kim having his kids is forcing him to realize what's happened and how it's happening to him there. That's deep, right? To see somebody early put his bug down and say, I ain't heard nothing crazy yet, right? Let's keep going.
Her. So I know you give these questions, and I give you like these 3-part answers. Is this a cool format for you?
Yeah, I love it.
Following? Okay, cool.
And I am following it.
All right.
So you said that your father said when he saw the shirt "White Lives Matter," it's great to see a black man stating the obvious. So, by which I think you meant that's obviously true.
Yeah, that my favorite response, because I kept on thinking, like, you know, people, they're looking for an explanation, and people say, well, as an artist, you don't have to give an.
Y'all can't tell me that ain't a Hebrew Israelite beard, man. Not a line nowhere near. He just got a beard on his damn face, man.
Bro, you ain't. I gotta show you the video. I think he said it today, where he was showing a hoodie, some new hoodie, and he's like, Leviticus 19:19. We can't mix fabrics. This is 100%.
All right, you just need to bring that price tag down, Yates, so we can actually wear it.
Or just give me price tag up. Just give me free.
You know what I'm saying? Send us a free box, Lord. You know, Lord in Christ. Go ahead.
Explanation, but as a leader, you do.
Yes, I think that's right.
So the answer to why I wrote "White Lives Matter" on a shirt is because they do. It's the obvious thing.
Yeah. Why do you think that's so? And I assume the implication is, of course, all lives matter because they're lives, because God created them.
Yeah.
Why do you think that would?
You see how short he just did it? Yeah.
Be considered controversial?
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color.
Man, he's talking that Hebrew Israelite stuff. Y'all talking about he's bugged. You got Israelites talking about he's bugged out in the chat. Y'all better listen, man. Y'all can't speak too early. This guy, this brother, is going on the biggest platforms you could think of, and he's saying, you know, he's taking advantage of the hysteria created by this White Lives Matter, and he's utilizing it to tell millions of people the truth.
Yeah,
and that's important, right? That's important. It's important not to rush to judgment, right? Let's go back.
Because the same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have. My dad grew up as a military brat, and his family moved around, but they were based mostly in Delaware. And at the time, if they weren't the only black family, they were one of the few. And he would be discriminated against because he was black. So by the time he got into college, he would be discriminated against. He went to a black college, he would be discriminated against because they said he talked too white.
Yes.
And then he played the kick drum in the band. So when he would go to the club and the music was playing, where would he clap his hands? Where the kick drum is.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of where everyone else was clapping their hands. And this is the most elegant and tasteful person that I know. And when my mom, when the school suggested, like the herding systems, because what they do is take the black community and they separate us, and they separate the families, and the educated, they push this, need for higher education, and us as blacks, we discriminate against each other and say, well, I got my PhD and you don't have your PhD, so I'm better than you. And so my mom, she had a PhD, and she was influenced to move to the south side of Chicago and take this job at Chicago State University. And she told my dad, if you come for us, you'll never see him again. Because, the media ridiculed me for getting the house next door to Kim to see my children. And they even said that I was stalking her and her new boyfriend because I bought the house next door to see my children. And that's how I knew that my mom had said that to him. I said, Dad, you know, they moved us to one of the most agreed upon to be one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's almost like they tried to kill me or something. I said, Dad, why'd you never come to get us? And that's when he told me that she was told that. You know, there's so many things that are put in Kim's head. You know, they bring influencers, like no one ever knew where Corey Gamble came from. No one in the fashion world knows where Gabby came from. These people were practically made in a laboratory, in my opinion. And one of the things that they're really good at doing is being nice and being likable. And what they do is, for people that have some form of influence, whether it's an educated Black woman like my mother that became the head of the English department at Chicago State University, or whether it's the most influential white woman on the planet, being my ex-wife, they have people that are around them at all times telling them what to be afraid of. It's like not what to do or say specifically, it's what to be afraid of. And if you have a person that isn't afraid of them, you know, like a Russell Brand or Candace Owens, or it's not that we have to agree with this, but
They're not afraid.
they're not afraid to state what their opinion is.
Yes.
No one is God, and everyone has an opinion.
So a conversation.
Man, yeah, that's pretty heavy. That's pretty much the end of that. I think some other parts are probably going to be coming out, but man, that's crazy. Oh wait, there's more. No. Here we go. Wait a minute. There's more.
I joined Uber One because I hate to.
Goddamn Sarah Silver. the devil. There's two ads.
I mean, man, you Hebrew Israelites kill me, bro.
I can't stand
man, this is like, man, bro. I love y'all, but I don't like you guys. Straight up. So sick of Israelites, bro. I'm serious, Debak.
I'm sick of
Israelites, bro.
They just can't follow the Bible.
It's wicked, man. Man, your ass was eating pork 3 weeks ago, nigga. What
you don't know what these brothers
wicked.
doing. Literally, you have no idea. As far as you can tell, he's keeping the
indication that West might become a massive problem for the industrial deception complex came in 2015 and 2016 when Donald Trump appeared. Figures now learns into the people.
A friend of mine told me that Chris and Kim had called him because he had influence inside of the Black community, and had called him to say, to get him to influence people to take the vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have opinion on that. I just want to state that as a flat statement. But it was.
I just want y'all to know that she called Black people and wanted to influence people to get the vax. That's serious. Jalen Howard, y'all about to drop your thumb with water. Well, he's saying that Kim and Chris did that. Kim and her mom.
We're specifically calling Black people to try to get them to take the.
No, we're specifically calling Black people with influence to influence Black people to take it.
Yes.
Hey, he said, I'm just stating that, right? Hey, listen, you do with that information what you will. I'm just putting it out there, right?
Tucker Carlson, he's a good listener.
Yeah,
You know, because brother mentioned in the chat how the elders talked to him.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson came by the elder. He's gonna listen.
Yeah.
He's fascinated with the mind of the Black man, right?
It was wild that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons. I didn't know, I didn't realize it at the time.
That you were married to her.
And I was married to her.
How close was she to the Clintons?
I mean, cell phone away, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away. I mean, not away, but like take the away part. But
Do you feel like at times you were manipulated by political forces through your wife?
attempt manipulation. But yes, there was some manipulation. Me not saying I like Trump was a form of a manipulation.
For sure.
Tucker Carlson is trying to get another headline. Hillary Clinton attempts to manipulate black people. He's trying to. I can see. Listen, I know when a nigga's trying to get a sound bite. Would you say that maybe he manipulated or she manipulated? Yes. Okay. So and you're black. Okay. So
You're
manipulated a black.
The Clintons manipulate blacks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why did you like him, by the way? You said you liked him early, like you saw him.
I mean, I keep telling this joke. If people say Trump was the first black president, I'm gonna be the first Latino president, because all the values, the conservative values just line up. Come on, man, Trump's the what do you mean? He has his own buildings. What are you talking about? He's like, like Ralph Lauren. Yeah, he made Ivanka.
You like Ivanka?
Yeah.
You wrote a post on Instagram about her husband today.
Yeah, you know, I had a dinner with Ivanka, Jared, and Josh. And a couple days later, I found out that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which is a line that I had developed with Kim. And I had a lot of issues with the imagery of Skims. I felt like there's a lot of imagery that was overly sexualized and things that I wouldn't want to see my wife and definitely not my daughters doing in the future in order to sell product. But it reaches another level when it's like, okay, well, this is what my wife is doing, and this is what they're doing this is what she's doing for our children. But it reaches another level when her business partners are selling pieces of company that they don't have to, because the company's already so successful and it's an internet-based company. So it's like they're really just selling off the company in order to create more relationships for themselves that are unneeded. It's like when I went to the Gap and with our release, they just like, they shoveled it out. I'm very cautious with my words. I'm really big on being able to have an adult conversation in front of the children. So I don't use explicit language in interviews especially. So I found out after this dinner that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims and I had 5% of Skims. And regardless if, you know, Josh Kushner figured out how to put $150 million, I'm sure it wasn't out of his own account, but $150 million, and I'm sure Jared still has a piece of that fund. Regardless of them putting that money in, for me to have been an owner in it and not known, just from a place as a creative where Skims is so based on a lot of the Yeezy ideas, then it's based on all of the relationships in fashion, because I had to use my relationships in fashion in order to establish Kim in a way where fashionable people would say, hey, I'm down to wear Kim's line. And these VC.
And that's important to understand that point right there. Who's familiar with, I'm gonna try to pull it up. The Kardashians used to have a line, right? I believe it was in J.C. Penney's, right? So what he's saying when he's saying he had to establish her so people who are in the high fashion would take her seriously, he had to do that. Her last damn line was at J.C. Penney's, right? Last I checked, J.C. Penney's doesn't have a runway at Fashion Week, right? We understand that. We know who's shopping at Penney's, not the same people who, you know, got a mink dragon on the floor, right? We understand that. I want to say the Kardashian clothing used to have this line. They got Skims now. I don't know if y'all been seeing the Skims commercials. I've been seeing the Skims commercials all over the place. And you can clearly tell that, you know, they got the you know, like you said, it comes from the Yeezy designs. You could just clearly tell if you look at them. But let's keep going. Big Ma, y'all about your mouth, with the water.
They come in and they get a piece of it after the fact, and they run around and say they have ownership in it. So as I put on my Instagram, which, you know, luckily for everyone, they could just write it off that, you know, I'm crazy until they see my disposition in this interview, and then it's going to get scary.
My wife feared one day I may kill her.
He got a gun and he put it to my temple.
New allegations.
He put it to my temple. It's over, Herschel.
He told her that he was going to come and blow her head off.
Debak, he's
How does Popeye's
finished,
chicken
man.
sandwich get so crunchy, juicy, and tasty? We make everything with love.
I said, hey, Josh, what if I had 10% of Karlie Kloss's lingerie, shapewear, swimsuit line, and you have 5% of it, and you didn't know? How would that make you feel? And then after talking to them and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler right then. They love to just look at me or look at Trump like we're so crazy and that they're the businessmen. So when I think about all of these things that Jared, you know, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work, and what is it, his work in Israel or his work in Palestine? What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like,
I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put on this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship business.
Okay, thank you. And
So now the peace treaties between the Arab nations and Israel are about money. Interesting. Let's keep going. I mean, he's not wrong.
I just think that that's what they're about, is making money. I don't think that they have the ability to make anything on their own. I think they were born into money. And for me, as a maverick and a talent and a person that's been, you know, beat, kicked, lost everything, sad to have lost my mind, went from pull myself up by my boots don't have straps on them, but I say pull myself up from my boots to becoming a multi-billionaire that gets the price every year of my net worth goes down every year on Forbes. They just keep on slowly just taking it down every year. It's like really a weird thing. But as a person that has really built something from nothing, when I sit across the table from a Josh Kushner and he just feels so entitled to that idea, and this person has never brought anything of value other than so-called being a good venture capitalist, I have a major issue with that. And it makes me feel like they weren't serving my boy, Trump, the way we could have, because, you know, Trump wanted nothing but the best for this country. And it doesn't, like, Moses stuttered and saying God is not always going to bring the most perfect personality. A lot of times the most fake people, their job is talking and making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and the realest people are going to make you feel uncomfortable at first.
There's more. Now look at this headline, Asad. Are you ready for this one? The next video. This is when my connection with Obama faded.
Oh my God.
I need to hear this one. Hope y'all rocking with us. I see them. The viewers is up. The more Ye we play, so let's play some more Ye.
Talk to Obama still?
I was Obama's favorite artist. He actually met with me. Obama met with me and my mama to say that he was running for office back in 2008. And that he wanted the support. And everybody was so into this idea of the Black president. And you were always cool. And it's also like, you know, how many of us are there? You know, Obama level, Ye level, you know, Virgil level, just Black, you know, so brilliant that we cut through all of the lines of racism. Like you just can't get rid of us. Nat King Cole level, Dave Chappelle level. So in some place we'd have to be friends and get along because it's like, yo, you're at that level. You're like a, you know, Formula One Lewis Hamilton race car driver. We're still driving a white car, but we're the best race car drivers that ever existed. And that was me and Obama's connection. But soon as I wasn't saying the things that I was supposed to say as a rapper, our connection faded.
So you don't talk to him anymore?
I'll talk to him if I see him.
Yep.
But I guarantee you he see me. I don't even know that, man. I just thought that sounded cool. One idea that was in my
I want to, like, and here's the thing about it, when we take a look at this picture. He looks crazy to me here. This is when he looks crazy. Look at that Obama. Look at that smile. It just looks fake. It looks like, you know, I think, and what he's saying is, as soon as he began to break away from essentially the Democratic talking points,
Exactly.
now, oh, we can't be cool no more. Right? You have a point?
No, exactly. It's liberal values.
Liberal values. Pro-choice. You know,
Marriage and whom it's
things like that. You know, hypersexuality. We know what Obama brought in. Right?
I had about 3 minutes ago that I really want to say it's that's really interesting about the when companies get the BLM managers.
What's a BLM manager?
Black Lives Matter office manager. It's basically you get a semi-influential Black person to become the face of a white company.
Yeah.
Right. So that means like in the design world, in the art world, they actually would pick artists that were less talented than other artists based on their influence, not based on their actual work, because everyone is vying for influence and an opinion. Everyone is afraid of losing their opinion. So with Nike, right? Nike is as famous as, you say Nike's more famous than PayPal, right?
Yeah.
Right. What number company do you think PayPal is?
I don't know.
Number 4.
Overall?
Overall, you got, well, you know the number 1 is, right? It's Apple.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting number 2, but number 3 is McDonald's. Then SpaceX is maybe 6 or 7. It's really interesting that as lit as Elon is, his previous company is actually still worth more than SpaceX. So what number company do you think Nike is, the Nike? Number 321. It's not there to be as big a financial company as it can be. It's there as an influencer because Black people love Nike. So Nike is like a company that is redlining and gerrymandering Black people. So the reason why Gap wanted me to go to Gap, it wasn't based on, oh, we need to get our stocks up. You know, it's like these companies, when they've been around for a long time, Gap's not like, they're like, we're in the rag trade. We're never going to be Apple. And everyone, all of these American companies somehow took this deal where they start putting in these really awkward, weird number kind of CEOs. Like Nike's got one, the Gap had one, it didn't work out. And there's all of these weird operators inside of companies, even in Balenciaga, you know. They're just there for control. Steve Jobs talked about it. It's the most important thing you can have is control. Look at me, all the money, all the influence, and I have to act a complete ass to have any say-so of anything that my children are doing because
Here's, sorry, give me Deuteronomy 28 real quick. So let's hear what he just said. This guy is a multi-billionaire, right? He can tell us tomorrow that he's putting out a shoe and it's a $400 shoe and the shoe will be sold out tomorrow, right? That's how much influence Kanye West has. Of course, again, he's a multi-billionaire. But guess what?
Strangers.
Overcome thee. It shall
pursue thee.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. No?
All these curses are going to come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? Point blank, period. You're cursed. We are cursed as a people. This is how, and I want people to understand that the curses that are on us are not just about money. You can be a rich Black or Latino or Native Indian person. You're still not, you're still under the curses. You don't escape the curses because you hit the lotto, so to speak. You're still under the curses because you're a billionaire and you still have to be told when you're going to see your children. That's insane. But that's the curses. That's Deuteronomy. You still don't give me, what is that, 31? That's on this topic. Go ahead.
It says 32. Thy sons and thy daughters, that one? Shall be given unto another people.
Guess what? The Armenians have his kids. Okay, go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
He want his kids. He want them so bad. He bought the house next door. He still can't see him when he wants. Right? Go ahead.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
There's nothing he can do about it. Billions of dollars. There's nothing that Kanye West can do about it. That's the curses. I need people to understand the curses. The curses, yes, our people in general are going to be in a bad socioeconomic condition. That's a fact. That's the truth. Us in general. But there's going to be exceptions. You're going to have some more people out there that's going to have money. Guess what? What does it actually even matter if you have money? Bill Cosby had enough to buy Comcast. We see what happened to him. Go to jail. Your entire image of decades of your life that you've built as a positive Black role model, done. Right? Nothing you can do about it. R. Kelly can be the most talented artist you've ever imagined. Guess what? Over with. You can't get no more money. You go to prison now. Right? When they say so, there's nothing we can do about it. Right? You hear something else? All right, let's go back to this.
That a group of people have control and say so over all the children inside of the clan. So that's what these companies are set up for. That's the type of CEOs they're hiring, especially when the founders are out of there. They kind of just give the companies up to a bunch of people and they're all in cahoots. Like anyone that ever worked with me, They just look at, oh, who's Ye farming for talent that we can hire to be our new BLM office manager. Like, kind of like Obama.
What do you think of Obama as a BLM office manager?
You're the guy with the gun, the person who would do anything to protect the ones you love. But did you know you could go?
Best one ever.
Yeah.
Best one ever. And you know, I think Obama, just like Virgil, these people were truly black to their core and truly brilliant to their core. But they went into situations thinking that they could do it the white way as a black man. And we saw what color Obama's hair was when he went in, and we saw what color it was when he went out. You know, Virgil lost all his hair, you know, and eventually passed away. So when I have techniques that are revolutionary, if I raise my voice, if I express myself on Instagram, it's a colonic. And people can say, oh, this what you're doing is toxic. If what I'm saying is toxic, I gotta do everything to get it out of my body. And there'll be times where I see a level of like oppression, Parisian proper, like next level, you know, France owns 80% of African banks level colonization, oppression. And I'll be like, I'm not going to let you guys kill me. But one thing that has to really happen, say if Trump ran, right? We're not just gonna be black influence. We're gonna be vision and creativity. We've gotta rethink who we are as a species. Right now, we practice killing ourselves every day. Like murder is legal in America, you know.
In abortion.
Yes. So whoever gets the position needs to listen to the vision. I didn't know it was gonna rhyme when I first started. They need to have Elon, they need to have me. You should start with those two, and then we'll get to the rest of them. We could pull in a Johnny Ives, we'll pull in all of our living, super brilliant people. And we need to analyze and not just sell out for the cash. Like these Fortune 500 companies, they're just selling out for the cash. And put God first, and the best representation of God is the children. The children is the extension of the family. Put the families first. There's so many things, suburbs. The train tracks being ripped up by GM just for capitalism. All these ideas that we have, we're now living in a place where we're the orphans of capitalism. And we just have to take a pause and rethink how we can have the most beautiful existence possible for our children, for the kids. And we're all kids. Yeah. We're all God's kids. We're all sons of Abraham.
Oh man. Well,
we all doesn't mean whosoever, doesn't mean whosoever.
Yeah. You know. You know, well, guys, that was Ye. Okay, that was Ye, and that's what he had to say. And when he says all, he couldn't possibly mean all. Now, could he? Well, Abraham, he could be playing the game there, couldn't he?
Right. Well,
just shout out to him. That was incredible. Yahweh Mahari, how about Shemi Ashabrakata Wathawada? Right? Cigarri. But yeah, so you said there's more? Where's my let's take a look. Oh, being Christian in a liberal dominant. Okay, let's go further.
What is the real story of
January 6th. Many people have asked that question. Some people have described what happened on that day as an insurrection.
It drove me crazy to not be able to say that I like Trump. It drove, because think about it, it's me. Imagine me not being able to say what I wanted. What was the point of being famous? What was the point of having, millions of people love your music? What was the point of having a voice if you can't even use your own voice and connect it to your own opinions?
Yes.
That's where the disconnect happened. That's where the quote, I think wrongly diagnosed, that's where the bipolarity is. Because you got something you're thinking, but you're told you're not allowed to say it in public. Well, I never actually told people that I liked Trump when he was running because I was bullied by Hollywood. Because I stayed in Hollywood and people were like, think about your kids, and I'm trying to hold on to the marriage. So I'm just biting my tongue. Like there's so many fathers and mothers that go to work every day and they're in a situation where they're biting their tongue because they think it will be better for their children.
That's right.
So even me in my position, I was biting my tongue on my political opinion because I thought it would be better for my children. And now you look up and my kids are going to a school that teaches Black kids a complicated Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa doesn't, so they don't teach even Christmas itself, Christ Mass. They don't teach it at Sierra Canyon. And what they do is take all of the celebrities, the actors, the basketball players, and they throw them in this one school and they indoctrinate the kids. So my son's psalm is brilliant. So right now, they're looking to figure out how to indoctrinate him to make him be another part of the system. I have a choir at my school. So right now, we've come to a compromise, but I'm not finished because I don't compromise. But we come to a compromise when my kids go to my school after school and they learn choir. I sat there with my son and he came and he said, why do I need to sing? I don't even go to your school. So imagine a 16-year-old version of that guy, the 26-year-old version of that guy, where the father doesn't have say-so of what the kids are watching, what the kids are wearing, what the kids are eating, who the kids are hanging out with.
So I just want this to be clear. Again, a billionaire, Kanye West, at the height of what he is, he has the same problem as tens of thousands of Black and Hispanic men in the hood right now. The same exact problem. I don't control what's going on with my kids. Wow. Right?
Ray Kurzweil said, we have the information needed to have a human utopia, but we're led by the least noble, most greedy people. There's a solution that can bring happiness to so many more people. I even had this idea about, the connection of big pharma to farms by having localized farms. With more localized farms, you can use less pesticides. If you have less pesticides, then you have less diseases. And have big pharma invest in the local farms, and they'll actually make more money. I'm not one of the people that go up and say, hey, I want to stop anybody from making money. The people that make money and the powers that be, I am your true Nikola Tesla. And I'm not even a scientist.
What do you think of Elon Musk? Do you know him?
Very well.
What's your take on him?
You said that because I said Tesla?
I did, yeah. It's just the first thing that popped.
And that everyone's always like, oh, Elon's got these answers. I think he's a great team player. you know, like I said about Ray Kurzweil and Utopia, you know, in Rome, they would bring all the most brilliant people and have them sit down to the point where their seats had a toilet in them. Like people would not even get up to use the bathroom. And they would ideate about what society needed. And they'd invent new things and they'd put it all up on the wall. And Donda, before it was a school, is a design firm. And what I would do is pull together all my favorite thinkers and we'd invent. That's why I was happy that you saw two of the inventions right there. You know, because now it's like, if I had said that before you drank the coffee, and some might joke and say you're drinking the Kool-Aid, but before you drank the coffee and before you saw the 3D printed boot, zero waste 3D printed boot, if I said Nikola Tesla, you'd probably, you could have shrugged that off. You know, I think it's insane for an administration to not use a talent like Elon Musk more. Like, if I was in a, or once I am, I will eventually be president before, you know, in my lifetime. But if I was in office right now, I would be calling Elon every day. I'd have him sleeping in the White House. I'd say, how do we use our platform as the most influential, that's a Freudian slip, the most influential country in the world?
I'm just going to click random stuff and something I'm sure is going to come to me because that's, you know, what I love about this kit.
To show the rest of the world how to live a simplified life. But our country is under attack, and media and industries outside of our country are doing anything to keep it as it was. And everyone's just afraid. God is love. And I understand I come off scary sometimes because I'm like, I'm going to protect my kids. I'm going to protect my reputation. I'm going to protect my brand. And there's times when you have to pull the guns out. You have to pull the swords out. You have to have righteous indignation as a Christian. For everyone that ever said, I can't get mad because I'm a Christian. As a Christian, it's like, yeah.
I don't understand how you can work and be so successful and influential in the music business and the fashion industry, the two most liberal businesses probably in the world, as a professing Christian with a pro-life badge on. How does that work?
I always think, whenever God allows a brilliant idea to channel through me and allows me to somehow, you know, take credit for it, I always snicker at the fact that with liberals, their main tool is, you know, that they use are artists and influencers, right? But then God has the #1 artist and the #1 influencer as a conservative. So I always chuckle at that. Every time I come up with some brilliant, I was like, could you imagine if, you know, they could have just indoctrinated Ye? You know, the world could have just totally been ran into the hole. And there's battles that the devil had won, but the devil's a defeated foe. Like, for me to have gone from Jesus Walks to you're such a hoe, I love it, you know, that's that deviation from the path. So, I mean, I love that question because I really, every time it just tickles me, you know, like that the very thing that liberals use the most of, they don't have the best person at it.
I mean, do you talk to other people in your business, you know, who are successful in the music industry, the fashion business, who secretly agree with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of fashion people. I mean, Tommy Hilfiger loved Trump. Let me see I got to think of all the other Trump. I'm not even going to use the term Trump supporter, right? Because why don't people say Hillary supporter or Biden supporter? This is just, you know, Yeah, there's a lot of people. You know what? People in my business who love Trump, businessmen, people who love money.
Yeah.
People who love money, people who actually like being successful, and and that ran into the ground. Like those are some of the people.
All right, in closing, on this, Officer SICARRI just sent me this, so we're gonna hit this real quick. What the hell is this?
In 2010, we had the pigeon in the building, and you came to talk to the security guy just to let the pigeon out. And it was reminding me this stuff about freedom.
Yeah.
And we have, to me, it was Kanye. It was how I see you because.
Or Ye now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not saying that out of disrespect. Yeah, I'm so happy that you felt that because I couldn't just leave it in the security's hands. This bird needed to fly. This bird needed to be free. So I took out my time to go because I saw the bird like flying into the window. And that's why I say I don't like mirrors and I don't like glass. Birds fly into glass. We don't need it. We're selfish to society. We're selfish to humanity. We're selfish to the earth in the way that we build just for our selfish purposes, or skyscrapers. Skyscrapers are like the Tower of Babel, and the focus is the monasteries to build places of a safe home for food, the most important thing to our species. Food, shelter, clothing is a form of shelter. A place where if someone doesn't know if they want to have their child or not, they can have their child. They can have we will have the highest medical teachers. Also, this is highest, there's a way that Gabby had worded it to me that explains how in Black America, we just don't have the healthcare that we need to even be able to successfully deliver our babies. Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger with the KKK to murder Black people. And it is really eugenics. And we are in our Holocaust as Blacks, as Jews, as the last tribe of Judah, the 12th tribe, the blood of Christ, because we are Jew also. And if you ask a Jewish person about their race, they don't say it's a race, they say it's a people. And if we considered ourselves to be more than just a color and more than just a race, but to be a people, we would treat our people and people differently altogether.
Last question.
Hey, man, he broke it down, man. And y'all keep calling him crazy. All right, keep feeding into the narrative. Keep making being a Hebrew Israelite look crazy. I know. Go ahead, Asad.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I can say this confidently: 99% of you people that are on the internet talking crazy about Kanye, calling him Kanye, calling him a bug out, calling him whatever. Him saying what he's saying right now is gonna potentially wake up more of our people to the truth than you and your lackluster performance and waking up our people will ever do, bro. That's a fact. So analyze yourself. Like before you start talking shit about Kanye West, are you doing anything for your people? If the answer is no, shut up, because the brother's going in on public platforms when he could be doing a whole bunch of other stuff.
See what I'm saying? I mean, it's pretty simple there.